guys, welcome to another episode of Mahjong Talk. I'm your host Peter Volk. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of my latest videos. Okay, so let's just get started right here. So an event is happening until the 11th of October, the Midwest Rendezvous. I think that's how you pronounce that. I could be like Retivius? I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. English is hard, guys. So basically this event is that you gain, like, you basically do certain winning conditions and you get these special tokens, and these tokens allow you to trade for like special items and stuff. So be sure to check that out until it ends on the 12th or the 11th of October. So, you know, be sure to check that out. Okay, so let's just get into a game here. East game. So what I want to talk to you guys about is basically guilt, shame, their differences, their similarities, as well as how do we deal with them and what is it that they deal with specifically. So many people like associate guilt and shame on the same playing field because they have like similar feelings attached to it, but they are pretty much different states or emotions. So what is guilt? Guilt, basically, you feel bad based on a behavior that you exhibit. So for instance, you feel guilty because, let's say, you had a fight with a friend, or you said something that was totally out of line and your friend basically walked away from you because of, you know, the said thing you just said that was hurtful. For shame, on the other hand, shame is basically you feeling bad about yourself based upon whatever actions you may have taken, but also shame is a bad feeling towards your identity. So in other words, you feel bad because not only of the behavior you exhibit, but also because of the way you express yourself. In other words, like something, it's basically based on things that you did and also things that you can't control, such as, like, you know, your personality, the way you speak, and all that other stuff. So the real thing is that what can we do to deal with both things? For guilt, I think it's a little bit easier because we can reflect upon how we were feeling at a certain state, and we can basically kind of engage with why did we behave in a certain way, because guilt is more towards behavior. So this is why people would say, like, every person you meet has a different either is a lesson for you or someone that will actually benefit you or increase your life, as it were. Like, when I mean increase your life, I mean like make your life more meaningful, as it were. And, you know, like, people go through relationships, and, you know, like, when people go through relationships, they would say the same thing, such as every relationship you go through, whether it be breakup or whether you end up in marriage, is a lesson. So the thing of it is that what are the benefits of guilt? The benefits of guilt is that it allows you to learn from your behaviors. The downsides of guilt is that you kind of feel as if you don't have to, but it's really hard to forgive yourself based upon what exactly happened. In other words, like, say you really had a really great best friend, and then suddenly you said something that was totally out of line, and you didn't mean to hurt them, but it did hurt them, and then they don't consider you a friend anymore based upon what you said. And, you know, that happens to people sometimes. And the thing of it is that what can you do to make sure that the guilt teaches you something rather than kind of punishes you for it? And the thing of it is that usually that takes time. It takes time for a person to forgive themselves, especially with society nowadays. We kind of feel like we have to, like, especially for society, we kind of feel like society hasn't forgiven us yet, so we have to be hard on ourselves to accept the fact that we screwed up. At the same time, that guilt of actually punishing ourselves can actually morph into shame. So the thing of it is that this is why people associate guilt and shame on somewhat equal playing fields because the feelings are the same. It's just that shame is a more extreme version of guilt. Because when it comes to shame, you attack yourself based upon your own actions and also based on the result of what said actions had led to. So the thing of it is that there are two types of shame. There's good shame and bad shame. Good shame is when you say to yourself, this is not the person I want to be, so I want to change for the better. But at the same time, there's also bad shame, which is more what I'm going to emphasize here, is that it's basically attacking yourself based upon the things that you cannot change, such as your flaws, how your body works, all that stuff. So say like you really want to lose weight, and basically you shame yourself because your body is not losing the weight at a pace that you really think would be beneficial to you. In other words, you worked out for like say 6 months, but you still have a belly. You still have a belly, and you feel as if I should already have a six-pack. What's going on? That sort of thing. And you shame yourself, and your body shame yourself. And I think there's an actual name for that, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, so and sometimes shames can lead to much more extreme things, like depression, and other things like body dysmorphia, or like I don't know, like I probably shouldn't say that because I don't really have big knowledge about like body dysmorphia or anything like that. But what I'm trying to say is that it can lead to like really big deceptions of yourself, to have certain expectations of yourself that, and if they don't occur, they will possibly kind of damage your self-image within your mind, not amongst like other people. So the thing of it is that what I'm going to be talking about is the negative ones, like the negative guilt and the negative shame. So negative guilt will lead to shame, and that negative shame can lead to much more harsher things within your mind. So what can we do to combat that? Well, the thing of it is that if we know that shame is stemmed from guilt, then we have to look at the guilt. We don't have to worry about what's going on what the shame is telling us. We have to learn how to separate the guilt and the shame first. And separating the guilt from the shame will do a better job of actually allowing us to understand why is it that we feel ashamed of ourselves. Let's see here. Alright. And the thing of it is that shame stems from guilt. But I'm trying to reflect on when there's a circumstance of when shame is not caused by guilt. And usually shame is associated with guilt when other people are involved. So the thing of it is that not all shame is stemmed from guilt, but at the same time it could be caused by it. Like it can cause like either way. So basically, say a parent makes you feel ashamed of who you are based upon how you express yourself, and it attacks your identity, and that leads to guilt of what you do in the future. Like you feel guilty about doing a certain activity, or being a certain or loving who you want to love. So basically, shame can lead to guilt, and guilt can lead to shame, and it's a really big open door type streak. So how can we deal with that? I'm dealing with that as well sometimes. Like I reflect upon, why do I feel guilty about certain things? Why do I feel shame for certain things based upon myself? And the point is just like to basically have those questions present, because the thing of it is that why do I feel guilty about this certain event in my life? Why do I feel this certain shame associated with the flaw that I have? And when you break it down, sometimes it doesn't make sense, or there are times when you are able to go back and associate it with like something that your parents said, or something that your teacher said, or something that your friends or former friends or ex-friends may have said. And it can be very hard to go down that road, because you realize that you probably didn't speak up for yourself when you realize that a certain emotion kind of got a certain thing that was said to you triggered you in some way. So shame and guilt are always going to come hand in hand when it comes to the emotional side of things. So how can we learn from both guilt and shame? Well, guilt is easier for us to like learn from because it shows us that a behavior that we exhibit. So there are times when I hang out with friends and I feel guilty about a certain way I presented myself because I felt like maybe I was being a bit annoying, or maybe I was being too like talkative when I shouldn't be. All these type of things. And sometimes I come home after hanging out with my friends and we could have had a really awesome time. I'd be thinking about irrelevant things, such as like, oh, why did I present myself this way? Why did I say this myself this way? I start criticizing myself, and that leads to like not only guilt but also shame as well. So sometimes I have to turn my brain off to basically say, no, I had fun, and I think this comes from the fact that we try to perceive the future. We try to predict the future to prevent ourselves from getting hurt. So the thing of it is that shame will always be there, guilt will always be there. But the thing of it is that are they there to protect us, or are they there to hinder us? That is the real question. And I think not many people ask that question. Some people like to put up excuses on why guilt and shame is there to benefit them. And some people like want to take their guilt away or take their shame away because it makes them feel insignificant or insecure about something. So the thing of it is that every person has a pathway to finding what exactly is the dealing with guilt and shame. I guess for me, dealing with guilt is I have to think about how I affected people based on the actions I took. And if they don't say anything about my actions, then there's nothing for me to feel guilty about. But if they did say something that my actions did make them feel bad or did affect them in some way negatively, then I have to reflect on that. And it's usually from the people that you care about. If it's just regular people that basically like look at you as a buddy that you just hang out with but can't really like be vulnerable with, those people come and go. But what if it's like your deep friendships, like your family, your best friends, your friends that you basically can be vulnerable with and share your emotions with? Their opinions are worth considering because, you know, they're your friends, they're your family. So, you know, I mean, sometimes they could be right and sometimes they could be wrong. So it's basically up to you. So, no. It's a really tough call because guilt and shame can benefit us, but they can also hinder us. So the point of this video is like my thoughts on it and how I try to teach myself how to deal with both said traits, because I'm still in the middle of like dealing with those conflicts as well myself. Whether it be about my flaws or whether it be about the behaviors I exhibit in the past, I'm still dealing with them, and it's a really rough journey to go on. But at the same time, I know it's a journey that I have to take because it allows me to actually understand myself better as a person. And you know, with society nowadays, we're always working and we're always like constantly trying to find like the next best thing for ourselves, as well as trying to build ourselves to be better people. I think we'll go with that route. Oh man. And the thing of it is that everyone deals with guilt and shame a different way. Hopefully it's in a healthy way where they're able to get out of a vicious cycle that probably will affect them in the long run. Because like I try to like prevent myself from going into a vicious cycle where I constantly blame myself all the time based upon stuff that I can't control. Because you know, for me, dealing with people is a little bit harder for me because like Even though I become friends with people, there's some part of my brain that's like kind of like, oh, what if I do something that makes them, you know, go further away from me? Or, you know, what if I accidentally don't do something like, you know, ask them to hang out or something that will allow them to know that I am their friend and I care about them. You know, because maintaining relationships is always hard work, and you know, like maintaining friendships does sometimes take a little bit of work, but at the same time, like what I worry about is taking people for granted, and you know, that's a part of myself that um, I'm trying to kind of uh, understand. Like I'm trying to understand, like, you know, myself better. Like for me, I'm the type of person that basically can chill out on his own and not worry about stuff, but I still want to maintain the friends that I have. And sometimes I worry that I don't do enough because I don't ask them to hang out as often because I just don't need to hang out as much. But when they call me up and basically my friends like ask, oh, do you want to hang out? Then I hang out with them. But sometimes I worry that like sometimes like there are some friends that, oh, you didn't call me up to hang out, so you know, like, are we still friends or what? You know, and some people can feel that way. But I don't usually like ask my friends to hang out, because usually when I don't ask to hang out, I usually just like chill. I just usually chill by my thoughts and my own feelings and stuff. But some people can't do that, and they feel like they have to be like, you know, they have to be connected with somebody, and usually that happens with hanging out and like having a small dinner, or like, you know, having a good lunch together and all that stuff. So that's like basically my own guilt and shame that I'm basically dealing with. So you guys are probably dealing with your own essence of that. So like whatever it is you feel guilty about, whatever it is you feel ashamed about, I would have to say, like, ask yourself why you feel that way. Is it something you can't control? And if it's something you can't control, then obviously that's guilt. But if it's something you can't control, then that's basically shame. So the real question is that what are we going to do about it? Because you can remedy shame and guilt. And usually to remedy shame, from my experience, excuse me, is basically just doing things that are outside your comfort zone, I believe. Because like just this week, I went to do my passport photos, and you know, it felt like I was doing something new for myself, and actually felt like I was not I felt like I wasn't being ashamed about being a social like misfit at times, because I usually don't be sociable as much, and I usually just like keep to myself a lot. But like, you know, doing the passport photos, and applying for my, and I'm planning to apply for my passport. It's a big step for me because it's showing that I'm doing something that, like, you know, it's not like a college application where I'm basically just applying for a college I want to go to, because that's an expectation that my parents gave to me. But doing a passport on my own shows that I'm willing to care for myself enough to actually say, maybe one day I'll travel. I'll travel and basically explore the world and do whatever it is that I probably wanted to do since I was younger. So, you know, I don't know when I'm going to be traveling, but, you know, it's good to actually have my passport so I can actually have the access to travel internationally if I wanted to. And it felt like a good step because I felt like I wasn't such a shut-in. So, because I always felt ashamed of myself for being a shut-in most of the time. So, the truth of the matter is that some shame is usually locked into something that you feel as if it's a part of you. So, if you manage to kind of like get out of it by doing something small, like for me, it was basically just, you know, doing the whole passport photo process and like actually like, you know, trying to engage with people on how to do a certain thing, like a certain thing that I want to do. That could help. For guilt, it's basically much, I wouldn't say it's much easier, but it's less challenging than shame, I would have to say, because guilt, it's basically not locked. It's not locked like shame, because shame is like, it feels like it's like a door with a lock on it, while guilt feels as if it's just a door that's just closed and you just need to open it. And when you open up understanding why you feel guilty, this is when you can actually talk to somebody, or you can kind of reflect on it if it's something you can manage. And when you realize that there's a lesson to be learned, you kind of like understand the lesson, and then you begin to try to figure out exactly how can you either remedy the problem or actually use the problem to kind of help build you for the future if it's a problem if it's a problem you can't fix. So there's that. Are we gonna play another round? Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. You know, like I streamed yesterday, so like I guess and plus it's getting colder out, so like, you know, whenever it gets colder out, basically the air starts to dry up. So like I apologize if my throat sounds if I sound raspy this video. So hopefully I sound loud enough to you guys. But that like again I said, that's something I can't control. Do I feel ashamed of it? No, because I know it's a common thing. And sometimes, like, you know, sometimes shame can stem from the most silliest things. So, you know, you can also ask yourself that, like, why is it that you feel ashamed about a certain thing? It could be something about yourself, or it could be something that that occurs. Let's see here. I feel like I can go for a straight, but we'll see right here. Yeah, and the thing of it is, there's some stuff that we do in the past and we feel guilty about, and then that guilt morphs into into shame. So the thing of it is that like dealing with those issues is a lot harder because we kind of grew used to the pain being there. But can we mature far enough where that pain no longer is affecting us in a way that attacks our identity? That's the real question. And usually that takes a lot of hard work. And I know you guys can do it, but the thing of it is that are you guys willing to do it? That's the real question. And some people would say no, and some people would say yes to certain things. So the thing of it is that is it something you can deal with on your own, or is it something you can deal with alone? And if it's if it's something you can't do alone, and if it's something you can't deal with alone, then this is why we have psychiatrists, and they basically help us out with that. I don't know if I should go for a certain hand, but there's so many possibilities I can go with, but we'll see what happens. But all in all, what I want you guys to take away from this video is that guilt and shame are practically like, they're not the same, but they can be on like an equal playing field, but they're two separate things. Like you have to imagine, like, you know, the playing field as your negative emotions, and then you have shame and guilt, and they're two separate doors. But the thing of it is that the doors are always open, so that means the guilt can go into the shame and the shame can go into the guilt. So the thing of it is that we have to act as a monitor between these two doors. Like they're two different departments, and we're just basically the manager of both these departments. But shame and guilt are two different things. They're two different things. So if we keep that in mind, that will allow us to actually understand our negative emotions a little bit better. Oh, cool. I won. I think I ended the game, though. Oh, that's not bad. At least I got to second place. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Got some stuff from the silver chest. It's good. Got some copper. Well, chances to get copper. Oh, we got some from the event. Cool. I'll claim this. I'll claim that. And as you can see, I own like a couple of these, so I can trade these in to get some like fortune bags or, you know, special stones. And I think this event you can't trade one item for the other, so I guess I gotta remember to claim these as soon as the event is over. Because I remember I played the last event and I didn't finish it. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna go for my chatting screen here. Let me just check if we're on there. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, guys, I hope you like what you saw. If you like what you saw, consider hitting a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of my latest videos. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The links will be in the description down below. And if you want to engage a game with me or any of my friends, or just talk live with us, or just talk about your interests in general, you can join us on the Newbridge Discord server. I'm trying to be more active on the server as much as I can, so whenever you guys enter in there, I'll be sure to greet you and, you know, like, don't forget to introduce yourselves in the Discord server so that we can get to know you and show you how awesome you truly are. And also, if you want to catch the Twitch live streams, I stream from Monday and Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And on Saturdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., all of them Eastern Standard Time, before I forget to mention that. And yeah, that's basically what I have for you guys today. So guys, as I always say at the end of every video, everyone is precious. You guys are just as precious as everyone else. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.